Thank you so much for watching Landom C Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. MACKENNA'S Gold is a 1969 Western that was directed by J. Lee Thompson. It stars an ensemble cast, which features Gregory Peck, Omar Sharif, Telly Savalas, Ted Cassidy, Camilla Sparv, and Julie Newman in the lead roles. The movie was photographed in Super Panavision 70 and Technicolor. It's based on a novel by the same name by Heck Allen, using the pen name Will Henry, and it tells the story of how the lure of gold corrupts a diverse group of people. The novel was loosely based on the legend of the Lost Adams diggings, crediting the Frank Dobie account of the legend. According to the legend, a teamster named Adams and some prospectors in Arizona were approached by a Mexican Native American named Gotch Ear, who offered to show them a canyon filled with gold. In the novel, as well as the film, the gang abducts a marshal named McKenna to find a way to the canyon. The storyline for the film goes that Sheriff McKenna, played by Gregory Peck, kills an old Indian chief in a shootout. While going through a sack, he discovers an old map that leads to the Canyon del Oro. Pretty soon, McKenna becomes surrounded with a ragtag group of citizens and criminals who want part of the gold for themselves. During their journey, they encounter hostility from within and outside the group. While traveling towards the canyon on horseback, the group has to face attacks from hostile Indian tribes and deal with discrimination from within the group's members against each other. During their journey, the group increases in size, with newcomers who have their own dreams about the gold and what they want it for. After they reach the canyon, all bets are off, and everyone is out for themselves, as they in greed begin to stack rocks of gold in their pockets and in their horses' side satchels. Meanwhile, the spirit of the old Indian chief begins to cause the walls of the canyon to collapse to bury the gold. It seems like it will be a miracle if any of them can escape from the wrath of the old chief's destructive spirit and get out of the canyon alive. The film rights for the movie were purchased by High Road Productions, the company of writer-producer Carl Foreman, who had a deal with Columbia Pictures. This was Foreman's first Western since he did High Noon. He's often stated that he thought that people should do a Western from time to time. He considered it the workout place for basic cinema. In April of 1965, it was announced that producer Dimitri Tompkin had joined the company as a producer, and his first project for the company would be MACKENNA'S Gold. In October of '66, Foreman announced that he wanted to make this film in the U.S., where he had not made a movie for almost 15 years. He originally believed that he would have to make the movie in Spain, where it could be done far below the line cost of $2.2 million. While in the U.S., that same shoot would cost him $3.2 million. After he looked into it further and did more research, he was able to find out that he could possibly do the film in the U.S. for only about 10% more than if it was foreign done. He was then persuaded to make the movie in America using the Grand Canyon. The first star that was signed was Omar Sharif, and he earned about $400,000 for his role in the film. The director's first choice for McKenna was Clint Eastwood, who was actively searching for a Western film to do after his success with the Dollars trilogy. He didn't like the script at all, turning it down immediately to play the lead role in Hang 'em High. Steve McQueen was also considered for the lead, but he turned it down too. The script was then sent to Richard Burton, and he stated that this standard Western script was just complete rubbish. Eventually, Gregory Peck's casting was announced. He had worked with both the director and Foreman on the Guns of Navarone. Julie Newmar ended up signing for the picture and also a long-term deal with High Road Productions included in this casting. Filming started on May 16, 1967, on location in Oregon. As we just mentioned, Julie Newmar appeared in the film, and she got this role by turning down a third season of the Batman series where she played Catwoman. Looking back on it, she probably wishes that she had continued playing Catwoman in Batman and not this disaster of a film. There is no possible way that this could have helped her career. One highlight to the shoot, while she was playing Kish Key, there was a swimming scene that she was supposed to do. It called for her to be topless with only a loincloth on her hips. At the last minute, she decided to do the scene fully nude, and no one, especially the actors and crew, argued at all with her about that decision. They were tickled pink. This movie was drastically cut down from its original 3-hour runtime plus an intermission. The cut version runs just over 2 hours, which is well long enough. Although most of the movie was photographed on 65mm stock to save a buck, at one point, a handful of scenes were filmed in 35mm anamorphic and then optically blown up with disastrous results. These blown-up scenes are exceedingly grainy and they have terrible color to them. Although this film was not received well by the critics and the audiences too, the movie was released internationally to a great deal of success. Its popularity in the Soviet Union was unbelievable. It was viewed by over 63 million people, which now stands as fourth of the all-time rating of a foreign film distribution in the Soviet Union. McKenna's Gold is a Western that's truly full of stunning absurdity. It stands as a thriving example of the old Hollywood maxim, how to succeed by failing big. The director, J. Lee Thompson, has some great films under his belt, but this is definitely not one of them. It is so lacking in discipline and consistent visual style that it feels almost comedic. Although it's set in the Old West, it actually has the shape of a French farce, with various groups of characters pursuing each other in and out of ambushes in a kind of circular action. The structure of the movie is so loose that the narrator, done by Victor Jory, must be employed from time to time to explain the plot. Another surprising aspect of the film that obviously cost a great deal of money to shoot is the sloppy matching of the exterior and studio photography from the miniature work that was done for special effects. I can't come up with a good thing to say about this film, but it's one of those that I think you ought to watch just to see how bad it is. How is it possible to have a cast like this, a well-known director, and then to have Catwoman stripped down for you? It seems almost impossible to come up with a bad film, but they sure did. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.